I would so love for people that think that they write reviews to actually go back and read Cale. Go back and read any of the biggies, like a G or who's the Cale Saris.
Yeah.
Go back and read any of them
too.
because the most important thing in a film review is to have a point of view and to have a distinctive voice. She had that in spades. And
she was a great writer. I mean, she was just a great writer. First and foremost, she was just a superb writer. So that's
helps. What critics need to be. They need to be. I mean, and we can be that too on our show. Critics need to be, very, very insightful, and also very entertaining to listen to read, whatever. It's just another form of entertainment. That's all.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
If you're just using film criticism as a way to point people to what they're going to go see this weekend, then, that's not all it is.
That's not good. I agree with you 100%. A guy that I love to read, I don't agree with him 90% of the time, but I read every book that he writes. David Thompson. I love to read him. I love the way he writes. I love but I don't agree with him a lot of the time. I disagree with him violently.
And by the way, that's another thing to keep in mind. It's not important that you agree with a critic. And I think criticism is a lot more important than just a form of entertainment, because I think it teaches us how to express ourselves and how to come to an understanding of how we view the world and how important that is. That's why I think it's inseparable in some way from politics, because it serve the same function.
Yeah.
Listen to another's viewpoint. Come to understand it.
Right.
And there's only value in that. And we've lost that all the way around.
Yeah,
well, that's true. We're not in that world now, because now we're totally in the world of picking teams and sticking to the team, and that's it.
Yeah, I would read, I would read anything by David Thompson. When I see he's written something, I always go out of my way to read it, because I just love his style. And he's so knowledgeable, and he has such a unique viewpoint on something. The other film critic who I disagreed with a lot of the time, but was such a good writer, that was Stanley Kaufman for The New Republic. I would read every review, especially when we used to get The New Republic. I'd read every review, because it's just it wasn't a viewpoint that I would necessarily take, but it certainly enlightened me. So there you have it.
And by the way, credit should be paid, because this has something to do with it too. I know we live in an increasingly illiterate society. People that don't know how to write, even the people that think they know how to write, can't.
Even some people who are getting paid to write.
Exactly.
Don't get me started on that.
But credit has to be given to the venues that employed Cale and Kaufman and Saris and all of these giants of criticism, because they wanted that kind of thoughtful discourse in their magazines and periodicals and newspapers.
Absolutely.
A lot of critics who work for different venues now are probably told, no, you're writing above our readers' heads.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens a lot. I mean, I think the worst thing that's happened to criticism is absolutely, number one worst thing is Ain't It Cool News? It set the tone. Those guys set the tone for what criticism has become.
For better or for worse, I think you're right. I think there are some good writers who come out of that genre, like A Birth, Movies, Death, or Badass Digest that came out of Chud. But I think for the most part, I have to agree, because it was almost that. How do we say? Harry Knowles and his. Although they make horrible. If you ever want to read funny comments, Dean, really, whenever Harry writes an article these days, dude,
really?
You have to
those people can't write. A lot of people place the blame on the footsteps of the Siskel and Ebert show, which they feel begat something like Ain't It Cool News. But the difference there is that Ebert and Siskel, they knew how to write.
Yes,
they knew how to write, and on top of that, they knew how to express themselves in front of the camera. I mean, that show was not just thumbs up, thumbs down. That was a marketing thing, that they smartly seized upon, and that's probably the worst thing that I can say about that team. But when they're on camera and they're actually discussing things, it is electric.
Right.
And,
I think the show, for it to be what its critics wanted it to be, I think they'd have to just talk about one movie a week and focus on one movie over the course of a half hour. TV don't work like that. It has to be easily digestible in segments. And they did as well as someone possibly could in that format, given those restrictions.